everyone affording life? Real question. How are you guys doing it? Because my daycare costs the same as our mortgage, which is just wild to me. And I had a crash out earlier today just about how like really expensive everything really truly is. And I just don't know how you guys are doing it. So I have a corporate 6-figure job. I should be able to afford life. We're not doing anything wrong. Just life is expensive. And I'm the breadwinner in my household. There's this like constant stress, like hanging over my head all the time of you got to make more to provide for your family, especially in this day and age. And it's wild because at the same time, I'm stuck in these corporate handcuffs and I am going through burnout. I don't want to continue doing this. I have like the mental load, hanging over my head. I'm trying to be a good mom, let alone like a good wife, daughter, sister, friend, which I'm failing at all of those things, I feel like. And if you have any tips or tricks of how you're getting through, would love to connect on them because it's wild.
Hey guys, I just saw someone online say that they know somebody that is charging $1,000 a month to rent a room. A room! Not even a little apartment, a room. And she was, going on about like, what are we gonna do? The economy is crazy. And I just wanted to share one idea because we are living it, and that is to move down with me. Rent your house out if you have one. That's what we did. And we got this apartment. And so that helped offset our costs. Now, believe it or not, this apartment costs more than our mortgage because we got it in 2019. But it's helped immensely. So now we can put food on the table and we can save for a better future because we're gonna build on our land eventually. And yeah, that's the whole point of being here. This is a stepping stone to where we want to get to.
I'm not here to compare my situation to anybody else's situation because at the end of the day, we are all struggling, especially in this economy. And although my situation is not as worse as anybody else's, it still is a struggle. So again, it's not about the comparison because in this economy, the overwhelming majority of us working class people are struggling. And I am one of the millions of healthcare workers who's living paycheck to paycheck. I want to give clarity on a couple of things. You can make a lot of money in healthcare, but it comes at a cost. I wanted to hop in and be a part of the conversation that Casanova started about truthful disclosure about your finances in this economy. Some of y'all gonna be like, you make good money. I do. But when I look at my check as a healthcare worker, I'm lucky if I get half my check after federal taxes have been taken out, after state taxes have been taken out, after my retirement has been taken out, after all of the shit that they charge me a la carte on my insurance, my vision, my supplemental disability. I barely get a little bit more than half my check. And it's a lot of people in healthcare that make well above minimum wage like I do that are still living paycheck to paycheck. And I'll be very honest. I owe the IRS about $20,000 in back taxes, almost $20,000 in back taxes that I give them a payment for every month. I have credit card debt. I have a car note, and I still have a small balance on my student loans, but it's still debt. I live in DC, and living in DC is not cheap, and I make well above minimum wage. And even though I'm not struggling to pay my rent, and the only reason why I'm not struggling to pay my rent is because I took my time to find something that I knew I could pay without struggling. But I don't live in a luxury apartment. I don't live in no extremely safe, nice, clean neighborhood. The neighborhood that I just moved to is pretty decent. My apartment is more than decent, and my rent is only $12.50 in DC, but Southeast DC. That comes at a cost. And the only reason why I'm saying all this is because with all the stuff that we are being taxed on, the cost of living, it's crazy. And I see why people crash out. Because you got to go to work and you have to put up with all the frustrations of dealing with what you have to deal with at your job. And then when you get your check, the overwhelming majority, if not all of your check, goes to bills, meaning cost of living. And I have definitely made my mistake.
Hello, what's up everyone? How are you doing? I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories. Now, everyone is realizing how difficult it's becoming in America to survive. Like, people are living at those moments where every day you're waking up with a disillusion. You're waking up, you don't know whether tomorrow you are going to be having something on your table. Leave alone that table. Where are you going to be putting that table? People are becoming homeless. And the rate at which this is happening, it's so much scary. It's so much scary to the extent that you, as an American citizen, you're working and you're not sure about tomorrow. You're not even sure about how worse it might get, because it keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. It's not getting any better. And one thing that stands out is that as time goes by, people get to realize, or people get to learn, that they were sold the big American lie. And the big American lie was the American dream. A dream that if you work harder, a dream that the system is there that will reward you. But they never told you about the elite class. They have all these opportunities and they can beat you in anything. Not that you cannot do anything about it, but it's because they have leverage. They know a person who knows a person. And that's the leverage that I'm talking about. And they're using this leverage. These groups of people, they're groups of people that goes to the best schools. These are the groups of people that don't have to think about what to eat tomorrow. These are the groups of people that they don't have to worry about spending like 10K maybe on a shopping spree. These are people that, and it's sad that this is true, these are the group of people that don't give a damn about you, because their fathers or their forefathers, they are a group of people that benefited from the system and are still benefiting from the system. And the system keeps on rewarding them because they have all the facilities that you don't have. So it is unfair. And when we are looking at the American, this moment when America is going through all these difficult times, it just proves to you one thing, that there is a huge disillusionment. And it's not getting any better. It keeps on getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So when you think about it, you think of something, because people are asking, is there hope for America? Do you think is there hope? Because everyone is realizing how bad it's getting in America. And some of the folks are trying to find ways. Some people are trying to find ways of getting out of the United States and just finding out life for themselves. So that's what's happening. So brothers and sisters, I want us to watch this video. I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my 2 cents in regards to this. And as you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories. And for those watching it for the first time, you know, I'm just asking you to please subscribe to the channel, like, share, comment down, tell me what you think about this video. What you really think about it. Like, honestly, right? I'll be gladly to see and look into it, how you feel about it. So let's get into the video. I'll be back.
Mistakes when it comes to my financial literacy has not been the best, like most Americans. So to all you motherfuckers that want to get on here and try to be like, oh, you should know better, you should know better, the overwhelming majority of Americans don't have good financial literacy. That's why so many of us are in debt. But that still doesn't mean that the cost of living does not need to be motherfucking addressed. Because I work hard for what I have. Like right now, I got a stack of tickets that I haven't paid because I don't have the money for it right now. Every time I turn around, I get a ticket in the mail. Even is that the cost of living isn't just your rent. It's gas. It's the cost of living. It's the cost that you have to pay if you take public transportation. Insurance is sky high in DC because you don't have a lot of parking spaces in DC. So you have to park on the street and they tax the fuck out of you for it, regardless of if you have a good record or a driving record. And I don't have a bad driving record. I don't. But like I said, I got a stack of tickets that they keep sending me, and the tickets that they sending me ain't $20 or $30. $70, 100, 150, and then if you don't pay the motherfucker in 30 days, they double it. In this fucking economy. And at the end of the day, they still have systems in place to keep you down even when you make good money. So like I say, even though my struggle is not as bad as some people, it still is a struggle. And at the end of the day, our system is broken and it needs to be fixed.
Hey, so everyone has lost their mind. Apartment hunting, housing market, renting, whatever it is, you've absolutely lost your mind. So as I sit here apartment hunting here in Los Angeles, would you believe that I came across this place, $2,500 a month, okay, 1 bedroom, no utilities included, you have to pay for your parking, bare bones, 3 times the rent, $650 minimum credit, okay? I scroll down to the bottom and I see that in order for you to access your unit that you are paying $2,500 for, okay, you must subscribe to a monthly membership to use your key fob. If you don't, you will not be able to access your unit that you pay $2,500 for. What are we doing? I know why people are burning down warehouses, and I know why people are running up on CEOs and sending them back to their maker. People are tired, and it is only going to get worse. This is quite literally something that the average American will not just work their way out of. They will not skip a latte out of. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What are we doing?
So I saw one of the comments on my videos that said we're doing everything right and we're still falling behind, we're still failing, and that's the part people are finally starting to wake up to, because this isn't about bad decisions anymore. This is about people, it's not about people being irresponsible. It's about the math simply not working the way it used to. And when you break it down, it becomes really fucking obvious why people feel stuck. The average household now needs somewhere in the range of $75,000 to $80,000 just to cover basic living expenses in many parts of Canada. And that's not luxuries. That's, housing, food, transportation, childcare, basics. And yet a huge percentage of people, are either at that level or below it, which means there's no margin, there's no buffer. And when there's no buffer, every unexpected expense becomes a problem, like a car repair, a utility spike, a grocery bill that's higher than expected. And it all adds up. And, at the same time, you have record household debt levels pushing past, $2.5 trillion, which tells you something else. People aren't just cutting back. They're bridging the gap with credit. And that works for a while until it doesn't. And that's where the pressure really starts to build, because now it's not just a matter of making ends meet. It's about managing the cost of trying to make ends meet. And what's frustrating for a lot of people is that they've already made the adjustments they were told to make. They've cut subscriptions, they've reduced spending, they're, fucking couponing, they're delayed purchasing. They've done everything that falls under the category of being responsible, and it still feels tight. And that's where the disconnect is happening, because the advice people are getting doesn't fucking match the reality they're living in. And when those two things line up, it creates frustration, not because people don't want to take responsibility, but because they feel like they already are and it's still not enough. And that's why you're seeing more conversations around this, more people speaking up, more people saying this doesn't feel right, because it isn't just an individual issue anymore, okay? It's something broader. It's something structural. And you don't have to look very far to see it. You see it in rising rents. You see it in grocery bills that keep creeping up. You see it in people working full-time and still feeling like they're just holding on. And that's not what most people signed up for when they were building their lives, right? They expected a certain degree of stability. If they worked hard, if they put in the effort and they were responsible, they expected that effort would lead to some level of security. And right now that equation feels off. And when that equation feels off, people start questioning everything. Not, in a dramatic way, but in a very practical way, like, how the fuck do I actually get ahead if this is the baseline now? And that's the question more and more people are asking quietly, consistently, and, with a level of frustration that, quite frankly, is hard to ignore.
Y'all, they're about to put the squeeze on us big time. All right. Yeah. Listen, it used to cost me $40 to fill my tank up. I'm having to cut back on driving completely because it's like a little over $70 to fill my tank up now. So I was struggling before, and I know other people out there are struggling too, especially the low income people. All right. And the no income people like me. It's going to be all right, though. God's got our back, man. He's going to show out. He is. You'll see.
$4.19 a gallon. That is what gas costs in the state of Alabama. $4.19 a gallon. I can't afford that. I drive an hour one way to work every day. It's going to cost me $200 a week in gas just to drive to work. I can't pay that. How am I supposed to get to work when it costs me that much? This is not sustainable. The American people cannot afford this, especially people like me. There are so many Americans going up to the gas pump going, you know what? I guess I ain't going anywhere today. I ain't going anywhere today. I'm going to call in. I got $6. It ain't even enough to get a gallon of gas in some places. And before you know it, it'll be $10 a gallon everywhere. Wait till the shortage really hits. The shortage hasn't even hit us yet. But once the shortage does hit us, you'll probably see $10 a gallon gas here in Alabama. $15 to $18 a gallon gas in California. And then what are you going to do? What are we going to do? Imagine how much a loaf of bread will cost then. Or a gallon of milk. Imagine how expensive everything's going to be if it keeps going up as fast as it is right now. The trajectory is showing it's going to be that high. Oil just keeps going up and up and up. It has not went down one bit. It just keeps going up. And if it continues to go up in the way that it's going, we will see $10 a gallon gas. And if that happens, it's over, folks. The middle class will completely die. The poor will starve to death. And the only people that will have anything to show for it will be the wealthy, the billionaire class. They will finally get what they want. It'll be just the rich and the poor. They won't be a middle class anymore. Do you think all this is by accident? No. This is the plan. The plan is to create the way it used to be, where there was the rich in the castle and the peasants. That's what they want. They want ultra poor and ultra rich. They want to be gods. Well, I hate to tell them there's only one God, and his name is Jesus. And when you torment his children, vengeance is mine, so say the Lord.
Well, I'm sitting outside of a Walmart store in my town. The entire parking lot is full of cars. I mean, so jam-packed that people can't even get down the rows to park their cars. This morning, we had to go get new homeowners insurance. That hurt. Granted, it's not nearly as high per month as it could be. I'm thankful for that. But we were told by our insurance company that the rates just keep going higher and higher and higher. And they're even getting worried at this point because they're losing customers because they can't keep up with the cost offset. Gas in my town in southeastern New Mexico is on average $4.17 a gallon. Some stations I have seen $4.27 a gallon. We were told within the next 2 weeks the average cost is going to be $4.48 for regular unleaded. Diesel, by the way, dear God, diesel's in the $5 range, mid $5 range right now where we're at. And we decided randomly that we are going to get some chickens. We are legally able to have some chickens, so we're going to go get some chickens. And yeah, the price of chickens right now, just to let y'all know, if you go to, I believe it's Tractor Supply, is $6 a chick. What's funny about that is that before we moved back to New Mexico, when we were living in Texas a few years ago, we had some chickens. And when my husband went to go get those chickens, they were a fraction of what they are right now per chicken. And I'm talking, we had like I don't remember how many chickens we had. I want to say we had like 12 or 14 chickens. And they were a fraction of what they cost now. So it just lets you guys know that the prices are super high. Their prices are not coming down, guys. And actually, I heard a rumor as well that by next year, the average cost per pound of beef is going to be $12. So if you guys think the prices are going to come down, I hate to say it, but I don't think the prices are going to come down anytime soon. So this is the reality that we live in. We live in high prices for everything, and the public is getting screwed. And I don't know, how does everybody else feel about that? Leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on in your state, your area that you live in, what the prices are for things, and how you guys are offsetting those costs.
Why is rent so expensive? I remember like 9 years ago, we lived in like a 2-bedroom apartment for $500 or $550 a month. And now a 2-bedroom apartment would cost you way over $1,000. A 3-bedroom over $2,000. And not even that nice of an apartment. And it's like they say you got to make 2 times the rent to even be able to get the place. A lot of people don't make that. I know that a lot of people are having to have roommates or live with family just to survive. How can that even be legal? It's crazy, man. Just let people be able to live.
The economy is so bad right now. Like, I genuinely have been struggling to find the words to kind of describe like what I'm seeing. And I think anyone else who works in the helping profession, who's people facing, and you work with like a wide range of people, you can really see that it's hitting everyone from pretty much every background. It's just really, really bad. I know people who have been unemployed for well over a year. I know people who've been unemployed going on a year. It's really bad. And I've seen people like making jokes and stuff about Spirit Airlines shutting down. But the reality is that's like, it says 17,000 because Spirit has 17,000 employees. But I saw someone else saying like they actually work for a printing company and their client is Spirit Airlines. So like this is going to ripple out. I'm going to say conservatively that it's going to be at least 20K people in the job market, and already struggling job market. There's no growth in the job market. And it's just so bad. I don't know. And I really hate situations where I don't have answers because it's just like really, really bad. But it's going to get worse, and that's the scarier part about it too.
For a second, I think a lot of people are going to be filing bankruptcy coming in the upcoming months, and they have no other option because with the rate of how things are going, food, the cost of living, inflation, apartment rent, car notes, interest rate, people have no option but to file bankruptcy. A lot of people right now, in order to keep up and survive, they're gonna have to get rid of some of that debt and focus on what's important to them. Maybe keep their car and keep their home, but all those other extra debt they have, credit card and loans and shit, people are gonna have to get rid of those things in order to survive and live, because if not, you're not going to be able to keep up with inflation because you're not making enough money. People are not getting that big increase on their income to keep up with the rate of inflation. So you're going to have people filing bankruptcy. And I'm not a financial guru. I don't know nothing. This is just common sense. I'm just here thinking what's going to happen.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing super great from wherever you're watching this video from. Again, I'm your host and presenter, Judek Stories. Well, have you seen? It's really getting tough. It's really getting complicated day by day. But the biggest question is, right, people messed up. And it's true. Elections were done. People choose whoever they chose. And the mess is here. Now the question is, how are people going to be solving this? Because it's getting crazy. The amount of disillusionment that is in America, it's so big that we have people that are sleeping. They don't know whether tomorrow they'll be able to wake up. not because there's somebody that will kill them or do anything to them, but because the system keeps on getting tougher. They don't know whether they'll be in the house or outside the house. They don't know, because the state of homelessness in the United States, how it's going, it's getting crazy. And our funny thing, to add on top of that, we have people that are getting fired because they are homeless. So it means that you are not helping these people. You are only creating more and more problems to them, creating more and more problems in their lives. That's what's happening. So people talked about this, and I thought that it's imperative to for me to also talk to you, and also have a talk to you about these issues that are going on. Somebody said that those who control the media, banking, newspaper, the internet know exactly what they are doing. And I told you, these are people with social networks. We can call them elites, right? These are people with social networks. They probably own every factor of production, and they have a social network in how they operate. And so when, for example, if I consider myself an elite, it means that my kid has to go to a school that has access to everything that we'll need in future. So for you as a person who don't have access, it means that you are not fit for things that will come in future. Like, not fit in quotes, because of the facilities that are not provided. And these folks, they control important factors of production. We're talking about banking, we're talking about media, we're talking about newspaper, the internet. You can name it all, brothers and sisters. We all know this is happening. And they don't give a damn about anyone. Everyone sold their businesses and homes to the highest bidder instead of family. It is sad, but that's just the truth. Every time I disclose my financial burdens, people say, you need to kick your kids out and ruin their lives too. They work hard and contribute as much as they can, and still can't afford to live their own. So I just tell myself, I'm a good person, and keep working. This is a difficult situation. And two things that I'll say. Economical problems that are happening in the United States has made people to become so much insensitive to family. Like, people don't care about family. There is a point where I was seeing this documentary where we have this young generation. People don't want to have kids. People don't want to have kids. Like, you feel me? People don't want to have kids because of the financial burdens. And honestly, if you get to reason with them, because they're asking themselves this question, why should we bring somebody in this life for them to suffer? Well, me as an individual, I'm suffering myself. See, that's the question that they are asking. And on a logical sense, you might try to understand that. But all I'm trying to say, I'm a person who has grown in family, and I value family, right? But when we get to look at the environment where these people are arguing from, I have no reason or at no point to dispute everything that they were doing, or everything that they are going through. Greatest depression, planned elimination. So sad. We are the hamsters on the wheel. Now we're just realizing the faster we go, the worse reality becomes. It's the biggest question. Does it get any better? Does it get any better as time goes by? The worst part of it all is seeing how one will ever do anything about it. The population has been demoralized, not by accident, but by design. Yeah, the population has been demoralized. There's so many crimes that are happening, and this is just like a feature of any society that has an economic problem. Remember, everyone is trying to survive, because we are going through the phase where we say survival for the fittest. So somebody got a hit. They don't have a job. What are they going to do? And that's where we come to issues like P-O-stitution. P-O-stitution. Um, 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 Crime rates going high, people on the streets begging. And I'm like, okay, these are features of countries that are going through difficulties. And as a person who comes from an African country, giving my opinion from a third person's perspective, it is really sad that that's a reality that majority of us back here have lived, right? I feel her pain. I ate once a day for years and years with no help from family and homelessness. As a war veteran, we all know the system is rotten from the top down. The system is indeed rotten. So the question is, what can you do about it? What can Americans do about it? Have they reached a point of no return? Has America reached a point of no return? I mean, that's just a question, right? This house of cards will inevitably come crashing down sooner than later. The citizens of the world have been betrayed and conspired against by the government. It is so sad. It is so sad that this is happening. So please, you all let me know what you'll think about this. They made healthcare a commodity, education a debt trap, a housing a speculation market, then told you poverty is a personal failing. The privatization survival and called it freedom. Michelle Clark, it's so sad. It's so sad, man. It's so sad looking at all these things that are going on right now. It's really sad. Somebody said that the first woman had me in tears, trying to imagine being in a position, and I can't. I wish there was a way to help her. I'm not going to be able to get beyond this while simultaneously realizing there are so many others in the same place. We lost our humanity. It's crazy. So brothers and sisters, please let me know what you all think about this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Internet Stories. So until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.